the another tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm gonna create an application from the scratch. It's a simple recipe application. So our application will consist of the recipe app will consist of a sweet and savory recipes. So each recipe will have a title, description, and a flavor. So user can add new sweets or savory recipes, scroll through the list of added recipes grouped by flavors. So they will be grouped by two flavors, that is sweet or savory. Then you can click a recipe to get information with dialogue, alert dialogue, and finally you can also delete recipes by swiping them aside, left or right. Okay, so what are the guidelines? We need to create a new activity. Obviously we need to add a recycle view to, and then we need to have two edit text fields. Sorry guys, this is a spelling mistake here, and two buttons to the main layout. So we add models for our flavor, titles and recipe, and an enum for flavors. Then we have to add each layout for flavor titles and recipe titles, separate layouts. Then we have to create each view holders for the flavors and recipes, and as well as also we need to create an adapter. Then finally we have to add respective click listeners to show the dialog with the recipe description, and update our activity to construct the new adapter, and hook up the buttons to add new savory and sweet recipes. Okay, so also we need to make sure the form is cleared after the recipe is added, and finally we need to add swipe helpers to remove the items. Okay, so okay, let me start. Okay, actually I have a very simple recipe activity inside my recipe folder, and this is a blank activity as you can see here. And okay, so now let's go and implement it. So the first thing is, let's create the layout. Okay, so our layout will be pretty much be like this. Actually I have already created the layout, and it's pretty simple, so I don't want to waste my time, so I will just pretty much paste here. Okay, so this is our layout. It will be similar to like this one. So we will have a recycle view, we have a recipe titles, recipe description, then you can add savory and sweet items. Okay, so this is our simple layout. Then once we have the items, the layout. Okay, the second thing that we have to do is create our the respective okay, let's update our recipe activity first. Okay, let me update the view first. Okay, so I will have a view items declared here. Okay, then the next thing we have to do is, obviously we have to let me see what we can do is okay, so now we have to create the let's create the okay, let's follow the guidelines. So we have created activity, we have created this layout. We have to create the models for the flavor title and recipe. So let's create the model. So this is my recipe. Let me create a package called model. Okay, which will consist of a list item model. Okay, so this list item model actually will be actually it's not a list item. Yeah, it will be like a interface, obviously item, but we will have to declare two UI models actually, which is a title UI model, which is like title. Obviously we'll be implementing this list item. We have also recipe UI model, and which will also have title, description, okay, then we'll have a flavor. Okay, so we have to also create a flavor enum. Let's create the enum. Flavor can be savory, or we can have sweet flavors, right? Flavor, okay, so which will obviously implement also the list item. Okay, so we have declared the necessary UI model, right? Okay, so what next is, after we have declared the necessary models for our flavor and titles and recipes and enum for the flavor, so we have to each layout for the flavor and recipe title, so we have to create the also the layout. Okay, so let's go and create the layout. So we will need two layout. One is the item recipe, sorry, it's not bold. You cannot create a bold layout resource file. Recipe, okay. Item recipe will be similar to this file. Actually, I have already created it. It's a pretty simple text view in this format, and we will also need item title, right? Okay, item title is actually I already have a item title. Okay, so yeah, I can reuse this item title, but let me think if we can use this. Let me, because we have already created a item title. No, we have to create a respective view holders, right, for that. So okay, we can pretty much reuse this. Okay, otherwise we need to create a new one. Okay, we use the previously created item title. Okay, so okay, now what next is we have to now add the respective view holders for the flavor titles and recipe titles, and as well as we also need the, first let's create the view holder. Okay, so let me go to the recipe, create a respective view holder. Okay, our view holder class will consist of obviously abstract class is a base view holder, which will container view, obviously, which will take as a container view and reuse the view holder and pass the container view. And we also need an abstract function which bind data, okay, list item, which is a list item, right? So now respectively we have to create the view holder. So we create the respective view holder, base view holder, container view, and then we have to obviously create the title view, text view by lazy, and container view, find view by id, title, okay. Okay, let me see which is the title. Okay, let me check the item title. What is the item title? Okay, yes. Okay, and then we have to obviously bind data. We have to implement this bind data. Text is title view. Text will be the list item as title UI model and with the title, right? So we have created the title view view holder. Now let's create a recipe p view holder. So the recipe view holder will obviously have the container view and also implement the respective recycle view recipe view holder will have a base view holder, and we pass the container view. Then obviously we will have the title view, text view by lazy, container view, and find view by id the recipe title. Okay, so here we have to now add the respective we have to implement the respective bind data, right? Title view, text list item as recipe view, recipe UI model, title, okay, title view, on click set on click listener, on click okay, so this on click listener will implement in a while to do. Okay, so we will do that. So now we have created the respective view holders for flavors and title, for recipe and title, right? And so now we also have to create a adapter. So let's create the adapter, which is called recipe adapter. So recipe adapter obviously will implement the recycle view, which will implement the recycle view adapter, and it will take the base view holder, right? Base view holder. And let me implement layout inflator. Okay, and obviously we need to have a pass it as a constructor. Then we have to implement the members. Okay, so let's implement the members here. Okay, now here comes, like, we will have different item view types, right? So we have to do it first. Let's create the list items, the data list items. It's a mutable list of list item. It's a list item, and so we have two list items, so private val savory title is title UI model. We'll have two titles, that is savory and sweet sweet titles. So we passed savory title and sweet title. So these our list items. Okay, and what next is like we have to obviously get the list item count. Okay, is a list items dot size. Okay, it's gonna return them. Okay, so let's bind the view holder. Okay, the holder is bind data list items position. Okay, so yeah, so we need to still implement the on create view holder. So to implement this we have to obviously create okay, let me see what next we have to do. Okay, we also have to implement the necessary dialog. Okay, but first that we have to implement the different view holder, we have to define the view type, different view types, right? So we have actually now two view types. What is one is a title, another is a recipe. Yeah, so constant while view type, let's define the view type. One is a title, let's assign to number 0, and another is a view type recipe, which returns 1. Okay, so after we have defined the respective view types, then we have to implement this get item view type. So we will return the respective view type on the basis of the UI model, right? Position. Okay, if the list item position is a title UI model, then return view type title. Otherwise, if it is a recipe UI model, then return view type recipe. Else you have to throw illegal argument exception saying that is a unexpected data type at position. So we have an unexpected data type at this position. That means there is no like we don't have that view type, right, defined in our class. So now after we have get the view type, so then on the basis of the view type we have to create the view holder. So let me see, on the basis of the view type we return the respective view holder. So it's if it is a type title, then you create a title view holder, title view holder, and inflator dot inflate dot layout dot item title, and parent and attached to parent is false, attached to root is false, right? Okay, so yes, obviously I was supposing that, so I have to create a new because I was trying to reutilize the previous one, but it's not working because obviously it's not extending the base view holder, right? So we have to create this title view holder. Okay, now it's okay. So then if it's a view type recipe, then we will have inflator inflate item recipe false. Okay, we pass this one, and yeah, we will still have to implement the click listeners, but we will do that in a while. And else we obviously have to throw illegal state exception. Actually it's also illegal state, it's not argument, it's a state exception. And we will have unexpected. Okay, let me just, okay, unexpected view view type. Okay, so it's unexpected view type. So we have created also recipes, we have created the okay, we have created the respective view holders, we have, okay, let me just do one thing now. Let me attach the adapter to the recycle view. Okay, so let me create the first the adapter recipe adapter by lazy. We create the adapter is a recipe adapter. We just need a layout inflator, so we'll pass the layout inflator for the moment. Yeah, we have the adapter now. So what next is, like, we have to also so we list okay, so this recipe list is a recycle view, so let's implement this list. Let's apply and attach the adapter to the recipe adapter that we have obtained. Layout manager is obviously linear layout manager. Recipe activity vertical. Okay, 1 second guys. Okay, vertical, and it's a false. Reverse layout is false, right? Okay, so we have pretty much attached the recycle view to the adapter, right? And okay, let me run the application and see if everything is fine till now. So we're pretty much like halfway to the application. Yes, yeah, we have two titles, you see, savory and sweet. We still have to add the respective savory and sweet items, right? Okay, so now we have to create the respective click listeners, and also we have to, okay, let's add the respective click listeners, and also I'm like respect click listener in the sense, if you add savory, you need to add the savory items here, right? If you add sweet, you have to add the sweet items here. And you need to also swipe. Okay, so swiping we will do it like, but let's do the updating our recycle view. Okay, items. So let's go back to our adapter and let's implement this. Let's implement, first thing what we have to do is we have to implement the we have to add recipe, right? Recipe. So let's create a function that adds the recipe, and recipe. Okay, let's create the recipe UI model, which pretty much what it does is with insert some index what it gets, it's the list items, index of when recipe model flavor, if the flavor is flavor savory, and savory title, index of flavor sweet title. You get this because we want the insertion index, right? And +1. So it's gonna take this index and add the new index, right? So that's the insertion index +1. So list items, add insertion index, and add when you add a recipe, you add that to that index, to that insertion index is a recipe UI model, and notify dataset change, okay, to the insertion index. No, not dataset change, notify item inserted actually. Okay, so now we have to add a recipe on click, right? So let's also add a click listeners, okay, let's add a click listeners to its button main. Let's add a click listener to, first thing is add savory. Okay, let's create where is my activity, add savory button, set on click listener. Then we have to add a recipe here, right, for savory. And then similarly we also need to add a recipe. And okay, so we try to create add a recipe, so we have to add the recipe. Similarly also add sweet button, we also have to add the recipe. But I want to create a common function for adding a recipe, and we need to also clear the form, right? We have to pass the flavor for which we are trying to add the recipe. So the title will be title text title view text to string trim. Okay, so we get from the edit text, we try to get the title, right? Whatever title we add, we get the title. And same with also description, we try to get the okay. And if title is empty, if title or description is empty, then just return, we need to have at least one of both of them filled, otherwise you create a recipe adapter, add a recipe and recipe UI model, and pass the title and description and also flavor. Okay, and finally you have to clear the font. So title view dot text will be clear. Okay, will be have an empty string, and the exception view dot text will have also empty view. So we clear the form here. Recipe and clear form, add recipe and clear the form. We pass the respective flavor. It's a flavor it's a savory flavor, and this is a add recipe include from flavor, it's a sweet flavor. Okay, so this is pretty okay, and yeah, we can run and check if it's pretty working. Yeah, so okay, nothing happens here, but if I add a savory title, is a egg savory fried egg with butter. Okay, and if I add the savory, you see egg savory, and yeah, let me add the sweet, is tiramisu, so fried no, it's not fried, it's vanilla with pistachio. Okay, so let me add sweet. Yeah, you see tiramisu, so I have the recipes. Okay, so we are able to add recipes to our RecyclerView, and okay, what next is, obviously we need to also add other form of click listeners to show the description. Okay, let me go to my readme file. So we have okay, add click listener to show the dialog with recipe description. So let's add the click listener to show dialog with recipe description. So let's do that. One second, guys. So obviously we have to go to our adapter and create the respective listeners. So let me go to a recipe adapter and let me create the interface, which is a on click listener and function on item click. It's a recipe view model, and similarly we also have to go to our view holder and check for the respective, we also have to create the respective view holder interface for the click listener, right? So we have to create an interface, is a on click listener and on function on click. You try to okay, so here we have to pretty much implement the okay, but first we have to also instantiate the listener. That's obviously we have to pass it on click listener, and here on click listener dot on click no, it's this on click listener actually, and on click then you have to pass the list item, right? Then we have to go to our adapter, and similarly our adapter we also need to pass the yeah, here we have to pass the respective click listener of object. So obviously we also need to create here on click listener is this on click listener, and here we have to down we have to create the respective click listener object. So let me create the object recipe view holder on click listener. Okay, on click listener on item click recipe UI model. Okay, so here we have attached the respective click listener, but we have to also implement this in our activity, right? Where we instantiate our adapter. So let's go to our activity, and obviously here we have to instantiate the object. So when we create the instance of recipe adapter, on click listener, recipe adapter on recipe adapter on click listener. Actually this is this on click listener. Okay, okay, I'm not able to get the click listener. Okay, let me see why I'm not getting able to. Okay, I just need to found nothing. Recipe adapter. Okay. Okay. Okay, yeah, because actually it was okay. Let's create it in the inner so that it's much better, creating inside the interface. Okay, so now here we are, and what else is, like, we have to on item click of the respective listener, we have to create a alert dialog, obviously. So builder alert dialog, builder recipe activity, then we builder message, okay, null create, so set message, sorry guys, set message, we have to recipe description, we have to set the message to the description, then positive button, obviously will have no listeners, like it will just create dismiss when you click OK, and that's it guys. So okay, I think we are pretty much okay with the implementation of the listeners. So let me add is egg fried egg with olive oil, okay, and savory. Then we also need to create sweet, okay, tiramisu vanilla as sweet. Okay, so if we click, you see, okay, we are getting something random here. Okay, so what might be the problem? Obviously the recipe description, we are not getting the necessary description, but we are getting pretty random values, guys. Okay, so I want to just check something. Let me attach. No, let me debug and run again. Okay, let me add egg fried egg with olive. Okay, yeah, let's see what's happening here, what I'm getting here. Okay, I'm getting here fine, and what I'm getting here is a value. Okay, yeah, that's the problem, guys. The description value is coming, yes, because I have a mistake here. It's a text. Okay, so now I think pretty much we are okay. So we run the application again. Egg fried egg with olive. Let me add it. Let me check the description now. Yeah, fried egg with olive. Yeah, this is the description. It's working fine, guys. Okay, so now what's next? Let's go to my readme and see. Oh, so we have added the respective click listeners to show the dialog with the recipe description. So now we have to update our active to construct the new idea. Okay, so we have done that, and now we have to add mix with the form. Okay, so that's, we have done it. So add a swipe helper to remove. So now we have to create a swipe helper to remove the items. So how can we do that? Is obviously in my previous lecture I already explained you, we have to create the swipe to delete callback, right? So let's go and create the swipe to delete callback. It's an inner class, so obviously it's inside. So inner class swipe to delete callback. Okay, which will item touch helper simple callback. Okay, to avoid the extra boilerplate codes, we use this helper methods. Okay, or item touch helper dot write. So once this is okay, we have to override the respective member functions, and okay, we are not gonna do anything with the move, so we return false. And so what we have to do is we have to implement the swiped get the position view holder adapter position, then list items dot okay, so yeah, what I have yet not implemented is like we have to also add remove recipe, right? So I have to create a function which will pretty much remove the recipe. Okay, we'll remove at recipe, and we'll have to pass the position, and list items dot remove at position, and notify items removed, right, the position. And similarly here we have to remove recipe and pass the position. It's pretty simple, guys. And not only that, we also have to avoid swiping this item, right, which is a title item. So for that we have to get movement flag. So this get movement flag will pretty much return if a view holder is a recipe view holder. Only in this case it will swipe, otherwise it will do nothing. That means 0. It will return 0. That means it will do nothing. Okay, so what we have to do is pretty much do this one, idle or swipe right, or swipe left or right. Okay, so that's it. It's not yet this one, because we still have to implement and attach it to our recycle view. But first that we have to, let's create the instance. Swipe to delete callback, swipe to delete callback instance. Then let's go to our activity, and let's attach the swipe to delete callback to our recycle view. It's a item touch helper is item touch helper recipe adapter, so if we do callback, we create the instance of item touch helper, then item touch helper, we attach it to our recycle view. Okay, yes, I think this is pretty okay. Fried rice with egg and butter, chicken curry with chicken. Let me create mutton fried, and pizza with mozzarella buffalo. Okay, what I want to remove here is I want to remove the mutton. So you see, I can pretty much swipe to delete, and it's deleted. Okay, so that's it, guys. And yeah, I think we are pretty much okay, and we have successfully created the simple application, which pretty much you add your recipe. And let me also add a sweet. Is sweet, let's me add what is a sweet. Sweets are tiramisu on the floor. Sweet, yes. Okay, yeah, pretty working fine, guys. And that's it. So we have successfully created our simple recipe application. Okay, implementing all the possible recycle view helper methods, that it has provided. And also we have in detail understood how we can use recycle view for the complex behavior, right, like swiping, like creating different item view, recycling item, creating different item views in a recycle view. Okay, and adding items, with the button, and displaying the descriptions and many more. Okay, so hope you liked it, guys, and if you like it, please do subscribe and press the bell button so that you will get notification for the future video releases that I will be doing. So, and thank you very much, guys, and catch you later.